Welcome to another segment of the Jess Turner Talk Show, and I am your co-host, and we're continuing our series on mental illness. And today we're going to talk about the risk factors, complications, symptoms, and what you can do, or if you have a loved one that is suffering from mental illness, what you can do for them. So let's just jump right into it, okay? So the mental illness, also called mental health disorders, refers to a wide range of mental health conditions, disorders that affect your mood, how you think, your behavior. Examples of mental illness could include depression, anxiety disorders, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and addictive behaviors. Many people have mental health concerns from time to time. And as I told you in the last show, that after I had 2 major surgeries, I went into a slight depression, and I also started having like panic attacks, and I didn't know why I was having panic attacks. I knew why I was being depressed because my recovery was like a year, a little bit over a year. And so I believe I was in my 3rd week, and I'm very independent. And so when I couldn't get out of bed to go and cook me something to eat, or clean my house, or what have you, I was feeling really bad, and because my independence was taken away from me, and I had to rely on family to come in and help me. And thank God for family. When you are dealing with any type of mental illness, you really need the support of your family. And I'm grateful to God that I had my family there to encourage me and to keep telling me that this was not going to last always. And as you see, I'm up and I can do what I desire to do. But I did slump into a slight depression, and I started having panic attacks. And I talked to my doctor, and I said, I'll wake up and it's like I can't breathe. And I felt like I was trapped. And so he, gave me some medicine. I didn't take it. I really don't like taking a lot of medicine. I didn't take it. I just relied on my family, and I relied on the Lord to help me through that. I don't have panic attacks anymore because I actually got help by talking to my family. And that's, I can't stress this enough. You need to talk to your family. You need to talk to your friends and let everyone know what's happening so that they can be a support for you, because you're going to need that in times of depression and so forth. So again, many people have mental health concerns from time to time, but a mental health concern becomes a mental illness when ongoing signs and symptoms cause frequent stress and affect your ability to function. When you have a mental illness or mental disorder, and you find yourself that you don't want to get out of bed, you don't want to take a bath, your regular routine has been interrupted, and all you want to do, like one person I know, all she wanted to do was just sleep. She just slept, like she was sleeping her life away. And I recognized that, and so I was able to help her to come out of her slump. And I don't know if I told you in the last show that she actually bought blackout curtains so the sun could not even penetrate into her home. And when I went over to visit, it was beautiful outside, but when I walked inside, it was gloomy and dark, and she was just in bed. And I knew that she was going through depression. And when she started talking to me, she stood in the doorway of her bedroom, and I was in the living room, and she started shaking really bad, and then she started crying. And she said, "What is wrong with me?" And my heart went out to her because I had been there. And so we were able to get her some help, and she's doing fine today. So again, I cannot stress enough that family and friends is very vital to your success on your recovery from mental illness. So if your mental illness affects you from the things that you know that you want to do, but you just don't have no desire to do them again, you don't go to work like you used to. Work used to, everyone likes making money. And so when we go to work, that's a form of getting out, just getting out, being out with your friends, going out to dinner with your family, with your loved ones. And if you find that you don't have no desire for that, you are experiencing a mental illness. There's something going on in your life that you need to address, you need to attack, because it's attacking you. So you need to get help. A mental illness can make you miserable. Yes, it can. And can cause problems in your daily life, such as at school or work or in relationships. In most cases, symptoms can be managed with a combination of medications and talk therapy. Like, I'm a therapist, and so when I was going through my own depression, I didn't reach out to another therapist. I don't know if that's pride or I just felt like I could handle it. But when I decided to talk to my doctor, I was reaching out. And then when I decided to talk to my family, I was reaching out. And I'm so glad that my family recognized what I was going through and that they were able to help me. So, symptoms and signs of mental illness can vary depending on the disorder, circumstances, and other factors. Mental illness symptoms can affect emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Here are some signs that I'm going to read out to you. I'm reading from my notes here. Feeling sad or down, confused, thinking or reduced ability to concentrate, excessive fears or worries or extreme feelings of guilt, extreme mood changes of highs and lows, withdrawal from friends and activities, significant tiredness, low energy, or problem sleeping. Yes, sleeping. If you find yourself that you're not sleeping well, or you wake up and you're always tired, there's something going on. Seek help. Detached from reality, delusions, paranoia, and hallucinations, inability to cope with daily problems or stress, trouble understanding and relating to situations and to people, problems with alcohol or drug abuse, major changes in eating habits, sex drive changes, excessive anger, hostility or violence, and suicidal thinking. This is just a basic list, but everyone go through mental illness different. Like, I had panic attacks, and my friend I told you about that darkened her home, she just wanted to sleep. She just detached from the world. And so we all go through different type of symptoms, and people will see different type of signs. So maybe with me, my family saw that I was depressed a lot. And so somebody that's dealing with a mental illness may not show depression. They may be the life of the party. They may be the person that's willing to take risks. There's always something underlying. So you can't just pick one thing and say, oh, this person has a mental illness. No, it's a combination. It is a combination. Okay, so sometimes symptoms of a mental health disorder appear as physical problems as well, such as stomach pain, back pain, headaches, other unexplained aches and pains. Headaches, migraines. I suffered from headaches a lot after my surgery, and didn't understand that that was another form of a mental illness. That my depression was giving me headaches because I didn't like my situation. I needed the surgeries. I could not have the surgeries. I needed the surgeries. And I'm grateful that I had a very, very good doctor, Dr. Fox, who performed my surgery, both of them, and he's a good surgeon. My recovery time was what bothered me the most. A year to recover, physical therapy, a nurse coming in, changing bandages and stuff like that. I was in a terrible place. But it was temporary. And most people that are going through situations in life that they don't like, they don't see past that situation. They don't see past that pain. When to see a doctor? If you have any signs or symptoms of mental illness, see your primary care provider or a mental health specialist. Most mental illnesses don't improve on their own. Like with mine, it improved and I got better. I don't have panic attacks anymore. Yes, my own self-will and how I'm structured, I guess. I worked through it and I got through it. And no pills, Really, I did go talk to a psychiatrist. Let me tell you this, not psychiatrist, a counselor. I went to this one counselor, and he had a dog, and he's in there asking me questions, and I'm looking at him playing with his dog, not really paying attention to me. And I remember I told him, I said, I don't think this is working. And so he looked at me, he said, why do you think it's not working? I'm a therapist myself. And so I told him, I said, well, first of all, I don't think I need this. Second of all, as a counselor, you should be paying attention to me and not your dog. And I remember he looked at me and he said, well, most people find this therapeutic. Okay. I didn't. And I did not go back. He wanted me to come back, and I told him, no, I don't need to come back, and I didn't go back. So be careful about who you go to talk to. Make sure that they, as I tell parents dealing with their children, and husbands and wives dealing with each other, that when a person is talking to you, you need to focus on them, not other things around you. Put your phone down, turn the TV off. If you're cooking, turn things off. Don't be distracted, because that could be the very time that person, their last effort to talk about how they're feeling, and you are paying attention to other things. Do not do that, please. Pay attention to your children and your spouse and your parents and your friends. If they're reaching out to you, there's something going on. They want to talk to you. And don't just take it as they just need attention, or they need to grow up. They need to, start acting their age, and all those are wrong things to say. So if you need to go see a doctor, go see a doctor. Because if a mental illness, if it's not treated, if it's not addressed, over time, it's just going to get worse. And we don't need things to get worse in our lives. We have enough problems than to be dealing with things that we can help ourselves, but we choose not to because of how people may think about us, how people talk about us, or how it may even make you feel. But get help. You have to get help. When you have a mental disorder, mental illness, whatever you want to call it, you need to get help. And if you find yourself that you are thinking about hurting yourself, having suicidal thoughts, please talk to someone and let them know, I'm having these thoughts and I really need you to help. I really need you to talk to me and listen to me, and people, please drop whatever you're doing. When somebody comes and say that they don't feel good about themselves or they're having these thoughts, drop what you're doing and listen. Please listen, because if that person opts out of here, you're going to feel guilty, and that guilt is going to tear you apart. That you were the last person that they talked to and you weren't there for them. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, call 911. If you feel that this is a moment that you may take your life, call 911. And if you're thinking about suicide, or you're having depression and all these, negative thoughts, there is a number to call, 1-800-273-8255. That is the national talk line for anyone that is needing to talk to someone. 1-800-273-8255. I cannot stress that number enough. So again, if you're having suicidal thoughts, you do need to get help right away. Call your mental health specialist. Again, call the national helpline, 1-800-273-8255. Seek help from your primary care provider. Reach out to a close friend or loved one. Contact a minister, spiritual leader, or someone else in your faith community. Because suicidal thinking doesn't get better on its own. You need to get help. Depression, if you can't overcome that thing by yourself, get help. Whatever your mental illness is, get help. Don't look for others to help you to get through if you don't want to talk to them. You got to talk to somebody. I cannot know what's going on in your head, what's going on in your body, if you don't tell me what's going on. I may look at you and say, you seem like you're a little off today. You seem like there's something on your mind today. And that's what I'm seeing. But if you got to talk, people, you got to talk to somebody. And stop keeping it bottled up within you, because that's not doing you any good. It's making things worse. Talk to someone about what is going on in your life. You need help. We need help. Talk to someone. Okay? I cannot stress that enough. And if you are a loved one and you're seeing someone that is showing signs of mental illness, have an open and honest discussion with them about your concern. You may not be able to force someone to get professional help, because we cannot force anyone to get help. But you can offer encouragement and support. You can also help your loved one find a qualified mental health professional and make an appointment. And if need to, go with them to that appointment. Don't just send them on off and, okay, let me know what happens. No, walk with them every step of the way. Believe me, that is going to do a world of good in that person's life. You may even be able to encourage someone that wants to kill themselves. You may be the very one that encouraged them to live. Help them to see past their pain. Help them to see past that circumstance, that situation that's unbearable, that breakup, that they can't live without the other person, or whatever the situation is. I cannot stress it enough. Help, 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 get help. Causes of mental illness. I need to calm down. Causes of mental illness in general are thought to be caused by a variety of genetic and environmental factors. Inherited traits. Mental illness is more common in people whose blood relatives also have mental illness. Certain genes may increase your risk of developing a mental illness, and your life situation may trigger it. Environmental exposure before birth. Exposure to environmental stressors, toxins, alcohol, or drugs while in the womb can sometimes be linked to mental illness. Brain chemistry. When the neural networks involved in these chemicals are impaired, the function of nerve receptors and nerve systems change, leading to depression and other emotional disorders. Here are some risk factors. Certain factors may increase your risk of developing a mental illness, including a history of mental illness in a blood relative, such as a parent or sibling, stressful life situations such as financial problems, a loved one's death or divorce, ongoing chronic medical conditions such as diabetes, brain damage as a result of a serious injury, traumatic brain injury such as a violent blow to the head, traumatic experiences such as military combat or assault, use of alcohol or recreational drugs, a childhood history of abuse or neglect, few friends or few healthy relationships, a previous mental illness. Mental illness is common. It's not something that's isolated. And more people suffer from mental illness in this world than what we really believe. People think it can never happen in my family. And yes, it can. And it probably is happening in your family, but you don't know the signs. Or you turn a blind eye to it, like they'll get over it. They'll get over it. So many parents have told their children, you need to grow up. You need to act your age. You need to get over this. You need to stop acting crazy. You ain't stupid. And that child is really needing help professionally. They're really needing the support of their family to help them through this crisis. About 1 in 5 adults has a mental illness in any given year. Mental illness can begin at any age, from childhood through later adult years, but most cases begin earlier in life. The effects of mental illness can be temporary, I can't even say the word right now, temporary or long-lasting. You also can have more than one mental health disorder at the same time. I was dealing with depression and panic attacks, 2 different illnesses. So it can happen at the same time. For example, you may have depression and a substance use disorder. Now the complications. Complications. Mental illness is a leading cause of disability. Untreated mental illness can cause several severe emotional, behavioral, and physical health problems. Complications sometimes linked to mental illness include unhappiness and decreased enjoyment of life, family conflicts, relationship difficulties, social isolation, problems with tobacco, alcohol, and other drugs, missed work or school, or other problems related to work or school, legal and financial problems, poverty and homelessness, self-harm and harm to others, including suicide or homicide, weakened immune system, so your body has a hard time resisting infections, heart disease, and other medical conditions. How can you prevent this? I know I'm going a little bit fast because I'm looking at my time. There's no sure way to prevent mental illness. However, if you have a mental illness, taking steps to control stress, to increase your resilience, and to boost low self-esteem can help keep your symptoms under control. Follow these steps. Pay attention to warning signs. Work with your doctor or your therapist to learn what might trigger your symptoms. Make a plan so that you know what to do if these symptoms return. And contact your doctor or therapist if you notice any changes in symptoms or how you feel. Consider involving family members or friends to watch for these warning signs as well. Get routine medical care. Don't neglect checkups or skip visits to your primary care provider, especially if you aren't feeling well. You may have a new health problem that needs to be treated, or you may be experiencing some side effects of the medication. Get help when you need it. Number 3, mental health conditions can be harder to treat if you wait until symptoms worsen or they get too bad. Long-term maintenance treatment also may help prevent a relapse of these symptoms. And 4th, take good care of yourself. Sufficient sleep, healthy eating, and regular physical activity are important. Try to maintain a regular schedule. Talk to your primary care provider if you have trouble sleeping or if you have questions about your diet and your physical activity. I'm going to stop there because I'm running out of time, but I cannot stress this enough that we need to help one another. If you see someone or yourself see a change in behavior, like I said in the beginning, things that you like to do, you don't do it anymore, or you don't feel like you're getting enough proper sleep, you're eating more than usual, or you're not eating more than usual, you're having thoughts of suicide or harming yourself or harming someone else and yourself, that suicide, homicide, it happens a lot in our society. Get help. Please get help. Talk to somebody. There has to be one person that you can go to that will listen to you. And if you can't find someone, then find a good professional, a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, or even your primary care doctor. You need to talk to somebody. And again, if you can't reach out to anyone in your community and you don't want to face anyone face to face, there is the national helpline, 1-800-273-8255. And this has been another segment of the Jess Turner Talk Show. I'm your co-host, Laraine, sitting in for my dad, Jess Turner. Like he always says, don't ponder it in your heart. Let's talk about it on the next Jess Turner Talk Show. You have a great day.